Together we'll conquer, no limits apply. Eclipse rising, shining so bright. With delusion leading, we'll conquer the night. Together we stand, in battles we fight. In dark Epoch, our future is right.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today, before we get started and started logging in, I wanted to take a quick minute to go through and discuss some of the newest patch notes that have came into the game with this most recent update. A lot of things are going to be changing for us here in the Atlans servers, from what I've heard. So I just had to hop in and see for myself. But to kick things off, what's new? We do have a returning event, the Divine Eagle Tree event. For those of you that don't know, this is that one out of two events that could really skyrocket your CP, or what a lot of people refer to as fake CP. But there's a lot more to it than that. Um, because not only are you going to have the opportunity to boost your CP pretty high, but you're going to get some new Eagles in the mix as well. So this event is going to kick off on May 5th at 5 a.m. Game time, and then it is going to conclude on the 7th at 4:59 a.m. Game time, right before the reset. Um, and it's going to be open for any of the servers that have been open for 8 days, and your character level is at least level 300. Now, during this event, you're going to be tasked with completing a bunch of quests. Typically, these are revolving around most of your dailies, but they do offer a lot of great rewards, such as some of your eagle armor and weapons and stuff like that, as well as some food for them. Then you have the Seeker of Fate. So the Seeker of Fate is almost essentially like the diamond packs that you could potentially get, but it's going to be structured around, sorry, excuse me. It's going to be structured around one, getting more spins for the wheel. Typically, they'll have another option that will allow you to do something else and then something else. But essentially, a lot of great rewards um, that you get to choose from, and they're all going to be beneficial and priced differently, starting from $1 all the way up to, well, there's really no telling, but I can only imagine, 50 US dollars or more. Um, but then as we progress through this, you have the Divine Hollow. So during this event, players can use diamonds to purchase valuable items in the Divine Hollow. This is where you're going to find all of your um, really good upgrade gear going in towards um, your eagle armor and your weapons. So definitely keep an eye on this, but this is also where you're going to be able to pick up an extra eagle slot. So if you are trying to equip more than one eagle, which to be honest, if you can, please do, because you do gain all of those benefits without seeing any kind of diminishing return. Um, so there's a lot of great stuff in there that you can pick up, but looking down below this, you have your special packages, and this is exactly what's going to be going for the Seeker of Fate. So it's going to be all of these different diamond packages, again, starting from $1 to $5, $9, 15, 20, and then keep on going up when you start getting into your affection packages and your food packages. Though they are limited to 5 purchases each, that affection packages will really boost your CP with your Eagles, as well as boosting the stats. So definitely something to keep an eye out for, especially knowing that we've got new Eagles that are coming into the game. Um, I did go ahead and do my solo bosses this morning before all of this, and then I instantly hopped off after I got one of the chests just so that we could talk about it together. Um, So hopefully we'll have some good stuff going through there, and we'll cover the Eagles while we're doing that. Um, so now the biggest thing that we've got is uh, phase two coming into these patch notes is the server merge announcement. Now, the last time that we had a big list like this that was posted, every one of these servers was merged into one. Now, I don't know if that's going to be how this is going to play out. If it does, then man, we have got a lot of work to do because we are going to be tasked with facing off against a lot of big players. And as all of you know, uh, I reign in Atlans 6 as well as the rest of the Eclipse Guild. So all of the content that you have seen has come from there, and we all know that we have been needing this server merge, and I'm very excited to see what all comes from it. So with this, it comes along with a server merge content. So to ensure a favorable server environment and Warriors gaining gaming experience, we will be merging some servers. After the merge, the world level will be based on the highest level from the merged servers. Uh, After the secondary server mergers or merges into the main server, the names of the users and guilds in the main server remain unchanged. Users with duplicate names and from the secondary server will be randomly renamed, and a mail with a rename card will be sent. Now, this is something that I do not agree with, and I have never liked from the beginning, essentially just because I don't want to pick another name. I've gone through switching names over time. I don't want to keep on doing this. Um, but with that being said, that's what we're stuck with. So apparently, whoever has the highest server gets to, you know, pretty much take your name if they know who you are. So for all of those that, clearly know who I am, give me a break, man. Come on. Um, but again, we do still have a lot that's going to be still new that we're going to be learning uh, as we go through all of this process. And that looks like that is going to be kicking off again on the 5th, starting at 3 a.m. game time, and it'll conclude on 4 a.m. game time right before reset. So, yeah, fingers crossed that we don't get shafted throughout this whole process. Now, there is a server merge event that does come along with each one of these different mergers. And then starting from the day of the server merge, a 5-day server merge event will commence. The details are as follows. So you will get the ability to have a daily first top up. So during the event, deposit any amount daily to receive a surprise box for the server merge. Upon opening the server merge box, you stand a chance to win rare rewards such as Divine Eagle Flame Seed and Feather of Rock. So I'm assuming that these are going to be your keys to unlocking some of these um, new eagles as well. And then you have the Warriors Assemble. So during the event, the ancient battlefield boss or personal boss and the world bosses will randomly drop FU characters. This is hilarious to me because yeah, we all feel this way every time that we fight any of these bosses because we don't get anything. Um, so collect the specified FU characters to exchange for related rewards. Have no idea what these rewards look like or how frequent they will drop, so we'll just have to stay tuned and figure that out as we go. And this is another huge thing. This is something that um, I've been trying to get information on and trying to figure out on my own time, but it's just been a little difficult to kind of get things all kind of pieced together. So the guild CP. So after the server merge is completed, the server merge event will reset the guild ranking within the server. Uh, for the duration of this is going to be the guild ranking. This period will replace the weekly guild ranking, and the um, the ranking will last from start of the guild ranking event until 8 p.m. on the third day of the event. So this is the part that I don't understand. So we're resetting the ranks. Okay, do we maintain our status as such as Duke or Count or any of that? or I'm just assuming that it's going to be resetting just our S tier ranking, and then we have to work our way back up, in which case um, is going to be a pretty big pain in the butt to deal with. But server merge Castle Siege. So after the server merge Castle Siege event will begin at 2100 hours game time on the third day after this event starts. And Warriors, it says Warriors, time to embark on your new journey, and then blah 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 blah. You know, it offers dynamic costumes and stunning graphic performance, you know, whatever. We all know how all that goes. But then you just have your basic uh, entry level events that comes along with new servers that usually happens every week on a Monday. A new server is created. So if you're interested in checking one of those out or starting fresh on an alternate character, um, there you go. Every Monday uh, of every week, seems like. But let's go ahead and hop in and take a look at some of these eagles. Just to eliminate some of the background noise, we're going to go ahead and take a little trip over to Laurencia. And then we're gonna take a seat because I'm assuming that this is gonna take a minute. What do we got? I can't win anything. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the new eagles. So, wow, 6 different eagles that we have new coming in. So starting off, we've got the Treehawk, as well as the Dragonhawk and the Unfettered Hawk King. I want to say that these are going to be from the boxes, which I do so happen to have one of those in my storage right now. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick. And notice how the old boxes for the Eagles will not have these newer ones in there. I'm a bit bummed out. I'm not actually a bit. I'm extremely kind of pissed about this. So I'm going to be pushing to try to get these two combined, just because I didn't save all of these for no reason, and I want to put them to use. So going into the new boxes, as you can see, we've got 3 new Eagles. We have got the Tree Hawk that's going to be in here as well, but we'll touch on that once we get into the Eagle section here in just a moment. We do have the Dragonhawk. Um, Again, really kind of liking some of these designs and how they are all presented. This has got to be one that I'm really looking forward to get. I just really like the colors on it. And that's the Free Hawk King. So we're going to go, sorry, already getting tongue-tied this morning. So we're going to hop back into the Eagle section here. We're going to look over some of these stats. So what does the Tree Hawk come with? Looks like we're just getting the basic stuff: decreased skill damage by 5%, decreased crit damage by 5%, but this is where our main focus is. And it looks like they did step this up from uh, the lower amounts needed to now a much higher, being 11 per fragment or per craft on your Eagle. So you will have to collect 11 of these to go through your rebirth process, all the way up to legendary. Now, looking at some of the properties that are coming along with the Treehawk Eagle, forest growth permanently increases your double damage boost by up to 5%. I do like that. I don't particularly care for everything that is left to chance. It's nice to have something solid. So when dealing double damage, there's a 25% rate to increase the double damage by 20%. This right here, I think, is going to be pretty big, especially for all of you high attack speed players that are going to be able to kind of chisel these uh, opponents down pretty quick, and being able to proc this, double damage bonus is going to be really nice. Though it does have a 30-second cooldown, I am still not sure if that cooldown reduction that's going to be coming from some of the properties in the constellation tree are going to affect this. I don't think that it will, but it would be nice to test it out. Moving on, vine entanglement. So Treehawk grants its master the might of nature, providing a 35% chance to bind the enemy target with a massive tree vine for 2 seconds, immobilizing them and reducing their defense by an additional 10%. So this is going to be a huge property that you are going to definitely want to unlock and start building up, because it does provide you with yet another stun for your kit. This is going to be something that is going to be heavily used in PvP, more than likely, for the low to mid and even high spenders that might potentially want to give this a shot. So be sure to keep an eye out and start building your Treehawks. Um, and then wrapping up with our legendary property here, upon entering battle, every 10 seconds increase your own attack and defense by 1%, and it stacks up to 5 times. So leaving the battle will clear the buff effect and initiate a cooldown. So think about it this way. You're starting off in Corpse, you're going into Castle Siege, Chaos Castle, you're going into weekend bosses. As long as you are there attacking that boss or staying in a fight, um, you are going to be getting this stacking attack and defense bonus up to 5% on both. So that's going to be huge, along with everything else that we just talked about, with this being able to stun more, boost that double damage uh, rate, and damage that's going to be coming out of it. So again, Treehawk's looking really, really nice. As we move down into the Dragonhawk, um, again, really liking these sprites and models that they have, but looking like increase your skill damage by 5%, increasing the crit damage by 5%, and your maximum HP by 2%. Just the stats alone for these things, guys, is looking really, really nice, not even including some of these. But as you can see, this must be an entry level for the Treehawk at 11 fragments to go ahead and rebirth. The Dragonhawk is bumped up to 13. Um, so it looks like these are going to be stair-stepping um, a little bit. But let's go ahead and dive off in. Permanently increases your critical damage by 3%. Now, critical damage is something that we can stack pretty much anywhere, um, from your different skill properties, runes, cast iron upgrades. Critical damage is always going to be around, and it's going to be something that we'll consistently be able to gain. So this right here is not so much of an importance to me as potentially some of these other ones that are going to be coming through. Um, so let's take a look here. Unstoppable. Now with this one, I want to say that every 30 seconds after the battle begins, gain a 3% rate for an excellent strike. Um, I do like this in a sense, but there's a lot of different classes that are constantly building and rebuilding to defend against excellent damage, and so I think that this could be viable. It's just going to have to take some playing around with and testing. Power of 10,000. Activate the final blow with a 50% rate to increase the times damage by 10%. Um, this is something that I'm definitely going to have to play around with and figure out a little bit more, because there's not a whole lot about Fatal Blow. Yes, we all know fatal means, near death to death. Um, so again, still need to learn a little bit more about that one. But moving into our legendary property here, after activating the time extension effect twice during a single unstoppable duration, it increases the lethal chance by 3%. So it just seems like this one here is really playing off of your excellent strikes as well as your fatal blows, and being able to either get those quick deletes on different players, or constantly pushing them down to that 0 HP property until it finally just goes ahead and finishes them off. Again, going to need to play around a little bit more with the Dragonhawk, but really looking forward to it. And then coming down to this one here, this is probably got to be one of my favorites out of the three that are released in the box, the Unfettered Hawk King. Again, this one is going to provide some really cool bonuses, increasing your defense by 2%, excellent damage by 5%, and element defense by 1.5%. Now, as you all know, once you start making it well into 600 and beyond, elemental attack and defense is going to start popping up pretty much everywhere. So it is going to be something that we're going to want to have to prepare for. Um, but with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look here. Untamed Wind. On attack, if crit activates, enter the inspired status for 3 seconds. And this gives you cooldown reduction, uh, as well as increases your damage by 8% and increases your activation interval by 5%. So I'm assuming that this is getting into that inspired status by talking about the 5% activation interval. Free at heart. While Unbridled Winds is not on cooldown, if an attack doesn't affect critical hit, the activation rate increases by 0.5% with each attack. So I take that back. This is all about getting your crits to land. If you do not hit a crit, which, come on guys, we're all building crit with all of these jewels of luck and stuff that we're putting on there, as well as everything that we're picking up through properties and different skills and stuff. So I don't think this one's going to be super big. And this right here, I don't really know what to make of it. Essentially, it looks like they got some color codes that just did not pan out, so we'll have to bring this up in one of my moderator reports. Kind of funny to see that. But while inspired, it increases your attack by 5%. So this is where this eagle is really going to shine, is boosting your attack as well as your damage beyond what some of these other eagles are going to be able to do. And 5% is huge when it comes down to talking about your overall attack and how much damage you're going to be able to do. Again, focusing and looking at Chrysos bosses, guild boss, as well as all of the new corpse bosses that are coming into play. And then as we move over into our legendary trait here, um, while inspired, critical hits inflict bonus damage equal to 3% of the target's missing HP. So the more HP that the target is missing, the more damage that you're going to end up doing. So I don't know. This could be something pretty big after all. Despite um, getting a property that is solely focused on, allowing you to constantly hit your crits, even if you're sitting at say 90 plus like I am. Um, I think that this is going to be a fun one to play around with. Now, these are going to be the next three are going to be the ones that you're going to start finding in your upcoming Eagle Tree event, being the Crimson Hawk, as well as the Auspicious Sparrowhawk, which, wow, that one looks pretty sweet, and the Sacred Garden Hawk. Yeah, they kind of knocked it out of the park with some of these designs on here. But we'll go ahead and start off with the Crimson Hawk. Again, these are going to have much higher boosted stats. So you're going to see your damage increase by 5%, your double attack penetration rate at 5% of an increase as well. And same with your elemental attack. This is going to be really big. But talking about the properties, so with the Crimson Hawk, you're going to get Sharp Hawk's Eye, which is the Holy Eagle's eye is sharp, accurately locking onto prey, permanently increasing the hit rate by 1.5%. So there is not going to be um, as much of a diminishing return when you're going in and you're doing these deadly hits, or you're doing these fatal blows, or all of this other stuff, it's going to boost that up by 1.5%. And then, of course, as we all know, once we start progressing through all of this, these will only get better over time. Scarlet Beak. Your attack has a 30% rate to inflict Crimson Tear on the target for 2 seconds. Players under Crimson Tear lose 5% of their current HP per second. Um, this is huge because 10% HP without really having to spec into anything. That's really nice. Really curious to play around with this one. Crimson Absorption. When attacking a target with Crimson Tear effect, recover 10% of max HP excess. It says recover 10% of max HP excess will form an additional HP barrier to resist damage. So again, if we didn't have enough barriers as it is, now you've got another one. Now it won't be near as big because it's only going to be 10% of someone's HP, but that could easily equate into 10 million, 20 million, depending on where you're setting at as far as your HP goes. Now, Lustrous Blood Feather. When inflicting an ignore hit damage, there is a 30% rate to grant yourself the Lustrous Blood Feather, and it increases your own HP recovery by 30%. This one, guys, I may spin for this one. I really think that this is going to be a monster of an eagle for E&E Dark Lords. On top of all of their HP recovery, and to be able to turn around and boost that by 30%, oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. Now moving down to the Auspicious Sparrowhawk. This one again, boosted stats, so you're going to have 3% increase to your defense, 5% increase to your decreased damage, 5% to your double attack resistance, as well as 2% to your elemental defense. The Sparrowhawk brings good news. So it increases your counterattack rate by 3%. Now, this is going to be new. This is going to be something that a lot of us haven't potentially had the opportunity to play around with. So this is going to be, I would assume, coming into play as we get into levels 800s through 900. So again, going to be one to keep an eye out for. So increasing the counterattack rate by 3%. From what I have heard, this is going to be another defense mitigation as well as a minor reflect. But then again, I could be wrong. Again, still need to do more research on this to find out more information. Pursuit of Victory. Activate counterattack to increase enemy. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Activate counterattack to increase enemy damage by 5% for 3 seconds. Maybe that's supposed to say decrease. But essentially, we're still early into this, so we'll figure it out. So Spring returns to Earth. So after the enemy's vulnerability effect during the pursuit ends, recover 30% of the damage dealt to the enemy during the pursuit as HP up to a maximum of 10% HP. So another health regeneration trait there. And then Auspicious Rebirth. So Auspicious Radiance eliminates each other. When HP is above 50%, increases the enemy damage by 3%. And when it's below, it reduces the damage taken by 3%. So sounds like when they say enemy damage, so the damage that we are going to be doing to the enemy, and then below 50%, is just a 3% damage reduction. Now, hopping down into the Sacred Garden Hawk, again with the boosted stats, plus 2.5% on your attack rate. Double damage attack rate is boosted by 2.5% as well. Same with the elemental defense at 2%, and the strike ignoring damage is boosted by 5%. Now, Flourishing Flora, PvP. trait. When HP is below 50%, taking damage activates Abundance for 4 seconds. This effect increases the defense and elemental defense by 2% for 2 seconds each time damage is taken, stacking up to 5 times and refreshing the duration on each trigger. So essentially, you could increase your defense by up to 10%. For 2 seconds. So I still think that that's pretty huge. Cooldown's a bit longer, but it's kind of understandable considering um, how high the boost is going to be. And then Blooming Blossom, so max abundance stacks is going up to 1. So now we can stack it up to 6 times, bringing us up to 12% defense. For each stack of abundance grants 1% damage reduction. So this is going to be your tank bird right here. Lots of tankiness coming out of the Sacred Garden Hawk. And then Floral Divinity. So the trait is called Lush Growth. HP activation threshold is reduced by 5%. Again, I don't know what this means. It's still something that I'm going to have to learn and practice and play around with, but hopefully we'll have some more information as we start getting into this event so we can actually see firsthand exactly what all of you are going to have available to us and what we need to be saving and keeping an eye out for later dates. But I want to thank everybody again for tuning in and watching on both the Discord as well as through the videos that I put out. Please let me know if you've got questions. I'm always around in some form or another and would be more than happy to sit down and talk with you on this stuff. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys get on with your day. I am Delusions, and I am out. Take care.
So raise your sword high, let's claim our fame. With every boss fallen, we'll carve our name.